Okay, so this is something I did yesterday, but I didn't really like the way the video came out, but I think it's a really important topic. So, oh, sorry, my ear, like this thing, right? Okay, so I wanted to talk about, I've had a couple of comments lately. Heard a couple of things from certain people, and not certain people, like just like, you know, different populations have different knowledge bases, right? So this particular population that I hang out with a lot doesn't really know a lot about this. So lately I've kind of heard, put yourself together. Not pull it together, but I think it's more like pull it together. Someone said that, you just basically they don't let their emotions run wild. And a couple of other things. And I just really, really want to put out there, whether or not people who consume this believe it or not, it's really important to understand that there is a difference. There's a difference between being a little worried and generalized anxiety disorder. There's a difference between sadness and depression. It's a big difference. It's how the brain actually functions. It's not about snapping out of it or pulling it together. That's just not how it is. So I've got the Mayo Clinic definitions of the general anxiety disorder and depression up. So I want to kind of read them. And we can discuss. All right. So generalized anxiety disorder, it's normal to feel anxious from time to time, especially if your life is stressful. However, excessive ongoing anxiety and worry that are difficult to control and interfere with day-to-day activities may be a sign of generalized anxiety disorder, right? Already we're talking about difficulty of controlling and interfering with day-to-day life. It's possible to develop generalized anxiety disorder as a child or an adult. Generalized anxiety disorder has symptoms that are similar to panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and other types of anxiety, but they're all different conditions. Fun fact. It's more of it's almost a little smorgasbord. You can't have like elements of this and elements of that, even though they're separate things. Our brains are all just different. Living with generalized anxiety disorder can be a long-term challenge. In many cases, it occurs along with other anxiety or mood disorders. Bing, 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 right? Like depression and bipolar 2. Awesome, 2 of them. And then honestly, some obsessive compulsive tendencies and some PTSD. So melange of anxiety and mood disorders. Okay. So in many cases, it occurs, okay, we said that. In most cases, generalized anxiety disorder improves with psychotherapy or medications. Making lifestyle changes, learning coping skills, and using relaxation techniques also can help. All true. I do take medication and I am in therapy. I am making a lot of lifestyle changes. I'm learning a lot of coping skills and I'm doing a lot of relaxation. So we're working on it. We are working on it. All right, symptoms. Generalized anxiety disorder symptoms can vary. They may include persistent worrying or anxiety about a number of areas that are out of proportion to the impact of the events. Check. Overthinking plans and solutions to all possible worst case outcomes. I've been able to come back on that. Perceiving situations and events as threatening even when they aren't. Yep. That's a fun one, right? That's a good one. There's nothing scary about it, and yet you're terrified. It's fun. Difficulty handling uncertainty. I freeze, right? It's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. That's what I'm like when there's uncertainty. Indecisiveness and fear of making the wrong decision. Inability to set aside or let go of worry. I think that's just everybody who's got this disorder. Inability to relax, feeling restless and feeling keyed up or on edge. Difficulty concentrating, or the feeling that your mind goes blank. How many times am I just like talking to someone and just like, blah, I don't remember what I was saying, like mid-sentence. Anyway. Physical signs and symptoms may include fatigue, trouble sleeping, muscle tension and muscle aches, trembling, feeling twitchy, nervousness or being easily startled. That's like my favorite thing, is being startled. Sweating, nausea, diarrhea, or IBS, irritability. There may be times when your worries don't completely consume you, but you still feel anxious even if there's no apparent reason. For example, you may feel intense worry about your safety or that of your loved ones, or you may just have a general sense that something bad is about to happen. That is the fucking worst. I have to tell you, when there's nothing wrong and you're just sitting there thinking there's something wrong, I just don't know what it is yet. Or something bad is really about to happen. Like, I cannot relax because badness is here. Like, just, there's nothing to be upset about. There's nothing. And yet, like, the amount of anxiety is overpowering. It's overpowering. Your anxiety, worry, sorry about all the sucking of the cough drops. Your anxiety, worry, or physical symptoms cause you significant distress in social, work, or other areas in life. Worries can shift from one concern to another and may change with time and age. All right. So that's generalized anxiety. That's what's featuring in my life right now. And this is how I'm handling it. And I'm gonna talk a lot more about exactly what's happened. Because there's a big deal. there's a thing that we need to discuss. But we're going to discuss it with Robin on Monday because it's a safer place for me to do so. And she'll know what to say. So after, I had a little incident, I'm watching my excitement level. And, it's, I can definitely get revved up very quickly, and I'm working, what I'm working towards is realizing that I'm starting to get revved up before I even get revved up. Like right now it's like I get revved up and then I'm like, okay, wait, no. Bring it down. So I'm looking forward to the moment and every moment after. And the thing is, you don't get it right every time. Like I like one time I'm about to this comes in waves. For a lot of people with generalized anxiety or depression or any obsessive compulsive disorder, any of these mood disorders generally have circular thoughts. They have repeating thoughts that they can't seem to get out of. And it's not like, oh, okay, just don't think that. You can't not think it. There's a connection that's not connecting. There's a problem. And people don't seem to understand that. People's brains are completely different from one another. Right? So someone who's so put together and got everything going on and, they don't understand someone like me who's like nothing is, well, no, that's not true. Not nothing, but there's still a lot of work to do. Let's just put it that way. So monitoring my inner state. And I feel there's this ever so, it's like a thin core of anxiety, but it's very light. It's not thick, and it's just sort of there. It's like phasing between this and another reality, but it's always there. And every once in a while I can feel it rise, and that's when I relax and release, right? So what did I want to tell you? Yeah, so people's brains are different. People's brains are like computers, right? We've got different software running. They've got connections in the hardware and stuff like that. And if something is a little off, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Things happen. Like it goes on the fritz. That's basically, I mean, my understanding. It's not like on the fritz, but there's like some tweaking that needs to happen. Because it's fucking miserable to live with. All right. It's not, you don't choose this. You don't choose this. You don't just say, oh, you know what? I like the attention. I'm going to stay worried. Or, oh, you know what? I like the attention. I'm going to be depressed. Like, that's not what this is. And it seems to me there are some people out there that think that's what it is. No. It's fucking miserable. It affects your entire life. I blew up my life. Depression blew up my life. Completely broke. No place to live. I mean, I have a place to live right now, but we'll see. Sorry, no, that was a weird face. You know, like, just barely hanging on. You know what I mean? When I finally first started lifting myself out. And it's, guys, you don't choose it. You can't just snap out of it. All right? You can't. Your brain is, so you've got these circular thoughts a lot of times, and your brain goes on. And at first, it doesn't feel so bad. At first, if you're not paying here's the thing. If you pay too much attention to it, you get neurotic about it. But if you don't pay enough attention to it, it just keeps happening without you intending it to. So it's kind of like you have to tune in to a certain degree and not obsess about it, which is hard for people who tend to have obsessive compulsive disorders. Disorder like things. I mean, I don't have OCD, but because that's fucking terrible too. But you've got these circular thoughts, and if you pay too much attention, you get neurotic about it, and they speed up. It speeds up, and it gets more intense. If you don't pay enough attention to it, they just start happening randomly, and all of a sudden you're shouting. Or whatever it is the case may be, all of a sudden you're panicking. You know, like it's not something people choose. And you cannot just snap out of it. You cannot just pull it together. That's not how it works. People are different. Okay? So what I'm doing to work on this is when I sense or I see that the beginning of that thought train is starting, I have a replacement thought, right? And it's a good one. You know what I mean? Like, it's just immediately, as soon as I think because there's a variation. There's always a variation, but it's the same thing. As soon as that starts, think the other thought. You know, you're like, okay, my thought right now is you're doing such a good job. You're doing such a good job. Keep going. Like, that's where I'm at. And that works really, really well. I actually was able to get to sleep last night because I was doing that. That was nice. So that's what I'm doing about that. What else do I need to tell you about that? Yeah, it's just about, I'm monitoring my excitement levels, bringing it down when I notice it's getting too high. I mean, I'm not going to stay like forever. You know what I mean? Just until I have a baseline of calm. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. Just a baseline of calm. And now depression, I wanted to read to you. Mayo Clinic, right? Depression is a mood disorder that causes a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest, also called major depressive disorder or clinical depression. It affects how you feel, think, and behave, and can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems. You may have trouble doing normal day-to-day activities, and sometimes you may feel as if life isn't worth living. Guys, again, I know some of you out there totally get this. Some of you out there don't. There are periods, I've been through. I mean, I wouldn't even say months. I would say like years where I wake up in the morning and my first thought is like, this again? Like, this is like, why am I even doing this? Like it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth it. Like this, the first thought when you wake up is like, this is not fucking worth it. Like, can I just die now? That's your thought. That's your first thought of the day. I want to die. You don't do that on purpose, okay? That's not something you do on purpose. All right. More than just a bout of the blues, depression isn't a weakness, and you can't simply snap out of it, right? Depression may require long-term treatment, but don't get discouraged. Most people with depression feel better with medication, psychotherapy, or both. Again, I'm doing both, right? And again, my depression, I climbed out of it, right? But it's not like one and done. You're not done when you've got relief. You have to change everything about the way that you think. You have to change your reactions. You have to really be on top of it. Because if you start reacting, even if you're feeling better, you start reacting to life situations the way you used to react to them, you're just going to go right back down there. And it is rewiring your brain. And I'm at least trying to do it kind of all at once, all the areas at once, because as the issues come up, you want to address them, right? So it's very stressful. I mean, I'll tell you that, like, it's monitoring yourself and changing habits that some of which have been there for 40 years. Not easy. Okay? It's not easy. Especially when they have to do with your feelings of self-worth, right? Because people who don't have high opinions of themselves don't think they deserve to get out of it. Like, I really want people who don't understand to see this video. People who don't think well of themselves to a clinical degree don't think they deserve relief from what they're doing. They think this is like, what I did was, I mean, and I still do this, but not to the same degree, was punish myself fucking every moment of every day, bringing back stuff that I had done in my, like mistakes that I had made, things that embarrassed me, over. And I had like a greatest playlist. It's pretty long, but over and over, like, oh, remember that? Yeah, that was really stupid. Like, just like, then, the names that you call yourself, the things you think about yourself, you don't do this on purpose. It's not Eeyore. It's not Eeyore. Sorry, if you don't know, there's a guy in my group who does a presentation in which he likens depression to Eeyore, and then the entire room laughs. And it's like, for real? Like, you're for real? Okay. Anyway. So yeah, so you've got these thoughts about yourself. You want to die, but you don't even have the energy to do that. Or you fear it, or it's not quite bad enough to take an action. You know what I mean? It's just always the thought, like, dying would be easier. Yeah, dying would be so great. Like, that's sort of the mentality that you go through life with when you're depressed. All right. Not something you want to be doing. It's not something you do intentionally. All right, symptoms. Sorry, I went off on one. It's just amazing to me that people would think that you can just snap. Like, what do you think? Just snap out of it? Don't you think I would have done that? I would have done anyway. All right. Symptoms. Although depression may occur only once during your life, people typically have multiple episodes. During these episodes, symptoms occur most of the day, nearly every day, and may include, or all day, every day, sometimes. Feelings of sadness, tearfulness, emptiness, or hopelessness. Yeah, that's like a... Yeah, I mean, tearfulness for me, I cry at a drop of a hat. All right, angry outbursts, not really me. Irritability or frustration, even over small matters. Frustration over small matters, yeah. Loss of interest or pleasure in most or all normal activities, such as sex, hobbies, or sports. I definitely lost interest in doing any of the art stuff that I do, which is stuff that feeds my soul. So, that was a problem. Sleep disturbances, including insomnia or sleeping too much. Tiredness and a lack of energy, so even small tasks take extra effort. Reduced appetite and weight loss, or increased cravings for food and weight gain. Anxiety, agitation, and restlessness. Slowed thinking, speaking, or body movements. Yeah, my thinking is definitely slower than it was when I was younger. I mean, I know that's true of everybody, but anyway. Feelings of worthlessness, guilt, fixating on past failures, or self-blame. It's a huge one. Trouble thinking, concentrating, making decisions, and remembering things. Frequent or recurrent thoughts of death, suicidal thoughts, suicide attempts, or suicide. Unexplained physical problems such as back pain, which if you have been paying attention at all, you know that I've had like 3 months-long back spasms in the past year. Anyway, for many people with depression, symptoms usually are severe enough to cause noticeable problems in day-to-day activities such as work, school, social activities, or relationships with others. Some people may feel generally miserable or unhappy without really knowing why. All right, so that is, I hope I'm helping people out there to understand 2 things. People who have this shit, people who are suffering from this, people who are surviving this, right? You're not crazy. And if people tell you to, that you should just snap out of it, or that, you could pull it together, or don't, protect yourself against that. You are doing a good job. Keep going. Work at it. Work at it. Work at it. It can get better. It will get better. You just have to work at it. But don't let anybody make you feel like depression is like Eeyore. Don't let anybody tell you that. Even if an entire room laughs at it. Sorry, I just can't get over it. It's like, what the... yeah, I should let that one go. That's when to practice letting go, right? All right. So, yeah. So these are real problems. They're real problems. Yeah, they're in their heads. The problem is all in their head. Duh. The problem's all in your head. Obviously. Jesus Christ. What is wrong with people? But that's where you're going to start, and I really hope that these series of videos help people out there who feel this way, feel not so alone, realize that they can get out of it if they're willing to work, but there is a way out. There is a way out. You just have, it's just a bit of work. You have to do something, it's just work, but you can do it. And it feels so much better. It feels so much better. That's a divergent point. And I also hope that people watching this who do not have experience with this and do not have relatives or family members or friends who have experience with this, I hope this opens, not that I think anybody's really going to watch this, but I hope this opens some eyes. You know what I mean? Like, be kinder, be more understanding. Don't laugh at people. Don't think their emotions are trite. It's a problem. You don't choose it. You don't try to do it. You don't choose it. That's just all I can say. All right. I'm glad to have done this video because I think it's an important one. And I hope that all of you out there enjoyed it too. And I'm grateful for the ability to do this. And I hope that you always, always, always remember that you can always choose to have a grateful day.